Call the meeting to order. Welcome to your City Commission meeting. Please turn off or silence all cell phones during the meeting. Meetings are televised every day on Channel 2 at 7 p.m. and midnight and available for viewing on YouTube and Facebook Live. The Leavenworth City Commission meeting will be open to the public with limited seating capacity. To reserve a seat, email cwilliamson@firstcity.org no later than 4 p.m. on August 25th. Seats will be available on a first-come, first-service basis. To mitigate the spread of COVID-19, face coverings and social distancing are required to attend the meeting. In accordance with Kansas Open Meetings Act, the meeting can be viewed on Channel 2 and via Facebook Live. The public is encouraged to continue to view the meeting via Facebook Live or Channel 2 and to submit public comments to be read during the public comments portion of the meeting and questions on agenda items to be read during discussion on that topic. Submit your comments or questions to cwilliamson@firstcity.org no later than 6 p.m. on August 25th. For call-in options related to commenting on agenda items, submit your inquiry to cwilliamson@firstcity.org. First order of business is to, I'll lead the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by silent meditation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. The first order of business at this evening's meeting is to present a well-deserved award to Mr. Bill Geiger. And if Bill would come up with his wife, Cindy. And I think it was late 2018, early 2019, the city established a Mayor's Award for Community Service. And so we have wanted to do this for a while, Bill, but let me just give you a little background on Bill, and I promised I wouldn't go into a big bio or anything, but Bill is the owner and the leader of Geiger Ready Mix Company, concrete and cement provider, and I'm pretty sure you've been here in the city for probably 70 years or more, I'm pretty sure. Yes. And providing our community and the communities and cities throughout the metro area with great experience, superior product, and superior service. And in addition to their headquarters here in Leavenworth, Kansas, I think you're in 4 other locations within the metro. That includes Olathe, Kansas City, Kansas, Liberty, Missouri, and Lee's Summit, Missouri. So this business is a regional, very successful business, and Bill is the reason, and the great people that he leads are the reason why. But I thought he was born in Leavenworth, but he just told me this evening that he was born in Long Beach, California, and then at the age of 3 moved to Leavenworth, Kansas. So that he's been here a long time. This is his hometown, and he went to KU, graduated from KU, went through the Officer Candidate School, OCS, commissioned, I think, in the Signal Corps, if I'm not mistaken, and served in Vietnam. So he's a veteran with Vietnam service. But in addition to everything his company does, he has just dedicated his skills, talent, and time in the service of the citizens of his hometown, the first city of Kansas. And we are very grateful for all that service, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it in the award. But I couldn't be happier to present this award on behalf of my fellow commissioners and the citizens of Leavenworth. So let me go ahead and read it if I could. City of Leavenworth, Mr. Bill Geiger is presented the Mayor's Award for Community Service for a lifetime of community involvement and dedicated support of education, employment, and civic engagement. Bill, his family, and his company have worked on the front lines with organizations such as Backpack Buddies, the United Way, and the Leavenworth Public Schools Education Foundation, as well as behind the scenes providing time and resources to countless organizations and causes. Bill generously donated all material required for the new parking lot and trail at the recent Stubby Park expansion and was a great partner in the sports field project. And today's date, I've signed it, Myron J. Mike Griswold, Mayor, City of Leavenworth. So congratulations, Bill. We really are in your debt. We get all, maybe show it like this.
Nope. I guess I'm
Yeah. And I've got one other thing for you, Bill, and that's the coin, the City of Leavenworth. I don't know, maybe you've gotten one of these before, I don't think so, but there's a lapel pin and coin. It's really a beautiful coin of the first city of Kansas, and it says, I didn't notice this until the other day, where history of the West began. But we're also focused on the 21st century, and we're doing well in that regard too. So I want to present this to you too. The floor is yours, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Mike. You know, there's a couple points I want to make. We have got a great product to share and help other people. Concrete being a product that people need to get started with different projects and things. So we are very fortunate to have that product that we can share, and if we're successful, we can help with many projects. The second point I want to make is Leavenworth has supplied us many good people. We've got a good team, and we're spread out all over the metropolitan with a lot of Leavenworth people, and they've done us a good job. Cindy and I went through the public schools here, and we've done a lot to negotiate and be with people in the community, and they wanted to join our team, and they've followed us in places that we've gone. So thank you very much. And the last comment I have is that I've been watching the city commission for years. This is a very good city commission, good teamwork, good working, and your department heads, Paul with his city group, the department heads are very good, strong leaders, and you've got a good team here, so thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you for coming, Bill and Cindy. And we're not going to keep you here for the rest of the month.
Okay.
But you can stay if you'd like. But no, great seeing you.
On TV.
Yeah, great. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your evening. So we're going to get into old business at this particular point in time. Consideration of previous meeting minutes. And we have 2 minutes from our last regular meeting, which was August 11th, 2020. Any comments or questions on the minutes from that meeting? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we accept the minutes from the August 11th, 2020 regular meeting as presented.
I second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the minutes from our August 11th, 2020 regular meeting. We are going to begin voting with Commissioner Bowder.
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson? Commissioner Leonhard?
Aye.
Commissioner Preisinger?
Aye.
And I, as the mayor, vote aye. Ayes have it. Motion carries. So we've approved the minutes from our August 11th, 2020 regular meeting. Next, we have to amend the minutes from our June 23rd, 2020 regular meeting. And this was, you want to say something, Mr. Kramer? Okay.
Mr. Mayor and Commission, Paul Kramer, City Manager here. This is just a small change to the meeting minutes from June 23rd. If you remember that evening, we heard from the Stewarts, Jay and I believe Allison Stewart, dealing with a landscaping wall there on 1145 Vilas. At that meeting, we had the Stewarts on the go-to meeting. We had our city attorney on the go-to meeting. We had a lot of the crosstalk, and we've worked with the Stewarts, and we're all on the same page, but they asked, and they have a signed letter from me indicating what the agreed-upon language is, but they did ask that we go back and amend the minutes just to clean up the record. We thought that was a fine idea. So there were multiple items on that motion, but there's only one area that we needed to amend, and that had to deal with the first item on the lower wall of the landscaping blocks along Vilas. We had remembered a specific number of blocks showing, but going back and watching it multiple times and parsing the crosstalk, believe that the Stewarts were correct. The motion on that part of it was for staff to work directly with the Stewarts to arrange the landscaping as discussed and come to an agreement. So that was that one part. We do agree that they were correct, and we should amend the minutes to reflect that part. So. Again, we've already had these discussions with the Stewarts, and they're aware that it's on tonight. I actually spoke to Mr. Stewart today, so that's all I have to add.
Okay, any questions or comments for the city manager? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we amend the minutes from the June 23, 2020 regular meeting as presented.
I second.
Motion and a second to amend the June 23rd, 2020 City Commission minutes as presented. We're going to begin voting with Commissioner Wilson. Commissioner Bowder?
Aye.
Commissioner Preisinger?
Aye.
Commissioner Leonhard?
Aye.
And I, as the mayor, vote aye. The ayes have it. Vote is 5-0, so we've approved those amended minutes. Next is a public hearing, and so,
Public comment, if there is.
public, you're right, keep doing that. And anybody submit public comment, or anybody on the phone for public comment, Ms. Williamson?
Nothing
Okay, thank you for catching that. Public hearings, this is a public hearing to consider Community Improvement District, CID, for luxury and imports. So I need a motion to open a public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
I second.
Motion and a second to open a public hearing. We are going to begin voting with Commissioner Bowder.
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson? Commissioner Leonhard?
Aye.
Commissioner Preisinger?
Aye.
And I, as the mayor, vote aye. The ayes have it. Motion carries. So we have opened a public hearing. Next thing is staff and public comments. Mr. Kramer, or?
I'm going to turn this item over to our Assistant City Manager,
Okay.
Mr. Taylor Tedder.
Mr. Mayor and Commission, just so you know, there are no members of the public on the call at this time. I'll let you know once I'm finished if anyone joined us. The issue before you tonight is the public hearing for the creation of the CID Community Improvement District for luxury and imports, which is at the northeast corner of 4th Street and Eisenhower Road. There are two things that are slightly different to this CID that were incorrectly stated in your packet. Ms. Katie Logan, our city attorney for the evening, actually alerted us that there's a state statute where there's certain increments where you can do a CID, and so instead of 0.45, we're actually now requesting 0.40%. You can either go in tenths or quarters. So I spoke with the applicant, and he's fine with going with the 0.40. And then also, in the ordinance, it has 0.75%, and that should also read 0.40.
Yeah, I
And
saw that, right.
I'll also note that the dollar amount in the ordinance should actually read closer to 1.5 million instead of the 600,000 that's in there.
Okay.
And so I'm going to go ahead and go through a little bit of this.
Those are the major changes, though, from the read-ahead packet, right?
Right.
Okay.
So I've been working with Mr. Ray, the owner of Luxury Imports, since about November. He did submit his petition on May 1st for the creation of the CID. And this project is essentially 4 different phases. The first phase is along the front and side of the property on the area closest to the bank property. They'll be adding more parking, which is along 4th Street, so very valuable advertising space for them. They'll also be adding a side lot on the north part of the property. And then they purchased the property behind the bank, which will house their new building for sales, and then an additional parking lot there. And then the final project is now to renovate the current store once all of those projects are done. And when we bring this back for second consideration, in September 8th, I believe, we'll have a development agreement for you to approve beforehand. So this will tie the projects to performance measures and benchmarks, and they'll receive a percentage of those planned projects as part of the incentive with those benchmarks to protect the city and make sure that it's performing the way it should.
Mr. Kramer, anything to add, or? The question I had, and have they started developing and doing improvements on their lot and their business yet, or is that gonna come? And the reason I asked was on the stormwater, because I think there are some things with stormwater that they're doing.
Yeah, so they've been to the city's, what's called the DRC, which is the Development Review Committee, and to sort of forecast or show us what this project's gonna look like. And one of the big aspects that we have been working on with them is stormwater and water quality and water quantity, because they're adding so much impervious surface to an area that is currently grassed. So, yeah, absolutely, the stormwater will be a big component of their project.
Okay, good. Any questions or comments for Mr. Tedder or Mr. Kramer?
Mr. Mayor, a couple questions, Mr. Tedder. If we approve this, I know tonight is just a consensus to move it forward. If we do approve it on September 8th, when would the additional 0.4% sales tax go into effect? Immediately?
Immediately, yes.
So September?
No?
That's not correct, no. It
When
has to-
Carla's notified,
I have to send notification to the, and Katie, you can help me with the dates on here, but we have to notify the Department of Revenue at least a quarter before it starts. So we'll have to work out that date as to when we send that notification, and then we have to wait a quarter before. Did I kind of explain that correctly, Katie? Could you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
That's correct. They have to be notified a full quarter in advance.
Yes.
So in reality, it's probably the first of the year.
Next year.
Yeah, because we'll be in the last
Yeah,
quarter, so
Yep.
probably
and that's
January
fine.
1st
I
it
just
would
wondered.
start.
but, Ms. Logan, correct me if I'm wrong, they could start a project after the CID is approved, just the collection would be delayed, correct?
Correct. Yes, correct. If I perhaps didn't hear correctly, it's only the collection of the sales tax that requires that full quarter notice to the Department of Revenue.
Right?
They can commence working on the project at any time.
Yeah, the applicant let me know today that they are looking forward to starting about the second week of September, so.
Oh, great.
Okay, one other question. I know that what they're trying to raise here, the cost of the project, $620,000 basically. Is there an either/or clause? Do they get 0.4% for 22 years or until they reach 620,000, whichever comes first? Or-
Definitely. So in that development agreement that we'll bring to you at the next meeting, that will show you, they'll receive a percentage of the projects. They won't receive the full amount. And there is a cap, and once they're done with all those projects and the projects are repaid to the level that we agree upon, the CID will be finished and it'll go away.
So in theory, they could have 10 banner years and it would end, or they could have 22, I don't want to say terrible years, but flat years, and it would continue for the entire 22 years, then expire.
Hypothetically, yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for Mr. Tedder? If not, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
I second.
There's a motion and a second to close the public hearing. We are going to begin voting with Commissioner Wilson. Commissioner Bowder?
Aye.
Commissioner Preisinger?
Aye.
Commissioner Leonhard?
Aye.
And I, as the mayor, vote aye. The ayes have it. The motion carries 5-0. So we have closed the public hearing. Next is the action required is following the public hearing, the city commission may approve the CID by ordinance of first reading, so it's, we have to have a consensus. I will go around and we will begin with seeing if we have a consensus with Commissioner Bowder.
Aye.
I don't think we're voting, we're just,
Just
can we
say
say aye?
If we
yes.
get
She
three,
can say
we
it.
don't have to
Oh,
go
it
any
didn't.
further.
Okay.
3 is a consensus, am I correct?
That's
Right.
correct.
Oh,
Yeah.
But is aye okay for a consensus?
Or you can just shake, I mean, you guys
Right.
can just
Oh, that's
shake your
fine.
heads if you-
Thank you, Commissioner Bowder. My bad.
You're in favor, thumbs up.
Oh, and Commissioner Wilson, you have a thumbs up on this, good. And how about Commissioner Leonhard? All right,
So we got a consensus.
we have a consensus, we move forward. on this, to anticipate the second consideration, and that'll follow in, I believe, early September to adopt the ordinance by majority vote. Okay, next, employee benefits plan renewal.
This will be our Human Resources Director, Lana Lanter.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, presented this evening for your review and approval is the renewal of the employee benefit plan to include medical, dental, and insurance, and vision insurance for the new plan year beginning December 1st. Included in the packet does outline the renewal rates that have been provided to us. United Healthcare currently provides medical and vision insurance for our employees, and Delta Dental provides the dental insurance for our employees. Both the dental and the vision insurance came in with a flat renewal, so no increase with no benefit plan changes. And the medical came in at a 6.5% increase, which is below the 8% that we had projected through budget meetings. Combination of multiple things. Number one, our experience over the last several months has gone fairly well, knock on wood. So with the anticipation that that experience rating continues throughout the year, in addition to the creature of COVID, and the impact it has had has also played a significant impact or role in the 6.5% renewal. With that, the main thing that we will focus on this year is doing open enrollment meetings in a much different manner. We will maintain the social distancing. We will probably not have our vendors on site, but all of them, both UHC and Delta, have offered the virtual meetings and virtual one-on-one sessions with employees. So we will look into that further and be working with each of the departments to set up department meetings for renewal of their Section 125 plans instead of doing group meetings at the community center. So a lot of work ahead to make changes to our normal enrollment process, but that would be the next step that we'll be working on upon your review and approval this evening of the benefit plans.
And it would take effect the 1st of December?
December 1 is our plan year, so they run December 1 of this year through November 30 of next year.
Okay. Any questions or comments for Ms. Lanter?
Commissioner Leonhardt?
Yes.
Ms. Lanter?
Go ahead, Commissioner Bowder, I'll have you go first.
Yes, I just have a question. Is our local hospital in network for United Healthcare?
St. John's?
Yes,
Yes, they
Yes.
are.
that is our local hospital. Okay, just wondering about
Good
that.
question.
That's good, thank you.
We just don't.
Commissioner Leonhardt?
Okay, so the contract year, you said from December 1 to November 1?
November
Is-
30.
Or November 30? So is that for the vision, medical, and dental?
Correct, yes.
And how long has the city been with United Healthcare?
Oh, I believe we are on year number, well, we've been with them since December of 2005, so.
Oh,
Year
great.
15.
Okay. So do you ever, I mean, even though this is great, the 6.5%, I mean, do you ever look into just seeing what else is out there?
There has been a couple of times that has been considered. We've taken it to our employee council members when we've had a fairly larger number of increase, when it's closer to the double-digit increases. Most of our employees, majority of our employees, have all voted at that point to make plan design changes to meet the budget numbers, because United Healthcare is very responsive, very receptive, and billing issues are very minimal with United Healthcare. So the service we receive from United, majority of our employees want to stay with one provider and appreciate the services that they've provided over the years.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments for Ms. Lanter? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the employee benefits plan renewal as presented.
I second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the employee benefit plan as presented, which would begin on the 1st of December 2020. We are going to begin voting with Commissioner Wilson.
Aye.
Commissioner Bowder.
Aye.
Commissioner Preisinger.
Aye.
Commissioner Leonhardt.
Aye.
And I, as the mayor, vote aye. The ayes have it. Vote is 5-0, so the motion carries. So we've approved that employee benefit coverage plan beginning December 1st, 2020. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lon.
Mayor's appointment. I am mayor's appointments. I'm going to move to appoint to the City Planning Commission Mr. Joseph Burks and Mr. James E. Diggs to unexpired terms ending May 1st, 2023, and reappoint to the Community Development Advisory Board Charles Davis, Sister Paula Rose Diernig, and Mike Seufert to terms ending August 31st, 2023, and appointing Brian Keeley to a term ending August 31st, 2023, and appoint to the Deer Management Advisory Committee Mr. Jamie A. Whitworth to an unexpired term ending January 31st, 2022. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. We are going to begin voting with Commissioner Bowder.
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson?
Aye.
Commissioner Leonhard?
Aye.
Commissioner Preisinger?
Aye.
And I, as the mayor, vote aye. The ayes have it, 5-0. Motion carries, so these appointments have been approved. Next agenda item is approved 2021 landfill services contract waste management.
Our Public Works Director, Mike McDonald, to handle this item.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, this is our annual contract proposal with Waste Management to accept the city's municipal solid waste. That is the household waste that's generated and put in the back of the city-owned trucks by the city employees and would be transported to their landfill, which is at just across the Missouri River in Shawnee, or excuse me, Kansas River in Shawnee, Kansas. The city has operated solid waste service since at least the 1950s, and we've hauled to most of the landfills around over the years. However, the last landfill we hauled to for a considerable period of time was the Leavenworth County Transfer Station. And ultimately, with their change in rate structure in 2018, the city looked at bidding out disposal services directly. And beginning in January of 2019, the city's refuse was disposed of at the waste management landfill. We had a lot of information to support the decision at that time. The city staff believes that the decision that was made at that time is still the correct one. Essentially, we trade additional fuel expenses for reduced refuse rates, with the expectation that in the general sense, truck maintenance is about the same or perhaps less. And the city commission has supported that by allowing us to purchase better trucks as we found the ones that needed to be replaced. We've also been blessed with our estimate at the time was $4 per gallon for diesel. It's something not quite half of that at this point. And the original estimates that we would save about $200,000 per year by transporting the refuse ourselves to waste management. We believe that those decisions were correct, and therefore our recommendation is to continue that with the new rate is about 5% more from last year of $25.96 per ton. I think it's important to note that we did have growing pains, particularly in 2019 and somewhat in 2020. The city revised the routes to balance them out and provides a more predictable end of the day for the employees as well as for the customers as when their refuse will be picked up. The city commission also allowed staff to keep the sixth truck, if you will, rather than trade it in on the new purchase. That allows us great flexibility, and basically you can fill up the truck and park it, and keep filling up the other trucks, and the trucks that have been parked can be disposed of at by an overtime employee or a differently scheduled employee on a different day. And that's worked out really well. There have been some changes made in the recruiting to create 2 labor positions. We believe that has been an effective recruiting tool. We've had a fair amount of interest in that. And I think we have actually hired 1 person in those 2 allowable positions as a laborer. It's reduced requirements for some driver's licenses and commercial driver's license expectations. Steve King is here at the meeting tonight. He's on a phone. If you have questions of him, and I'll do my very best to answer questions you may have of me. But the staff does recommend that we approve the proposed contract for 2021 of $25.96 per ton with Waste Management.
Okay, any questions or comments for Mr. McDonald?
Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to say thank you for working on this, and at $25.96 a ton or $26 a ton, even with the mileage going back and forth to the spot in Shawnee across Waste Management site there on I think it's Metropolitan Avenue, or whatever that avenue, right across 435, the river at 435, and back, I'd say round trip, that's 48 miles, just guessing. So that's probably an hour, hour and a half windshield time. By the time you get there, dump it and back, that adds cost. And it's still significantly cheaper than what the county would charge us to dump it at the transfer station. When we did this about 3 years ago, county just changed the tipping rate by, I think they raised it by 45%. I'm going from memory, I could be a little bit wrong. And I don't know of any county, the commission didn't vote on that, I just know that they raised the prices. And I think it's sad that we do take the trash down there when we could use the tipping station, but we are stewards of the city's money, of the taxpayers' money, and we shouldn't do that. But if they would come to an agreement, basically what it was before, we could employ more Leavenworth County people at our tipping station. It'd be a win-win for all, but obviously we cannot do that and waste the taxpayers' money. But this is an outstanding rate, and I'm glad that we're doing it.
Thank you, Commissioner Preisinger. Any other comments or questions for Mr. McDonald?
I just have a comment, Commissioner Leonhardt. Yeah, I agree with Commissioner Preisinger. Too bad we couldn't just keep this local and have more employees from Leavenworth County transfer station. I don't know why they just couldn't make it attractive to the unities within the county just to support each other. So that's just my comments.
Okay. Any other comments or questions for Mr. McDonald? If not, I'll entertain a motion on this agenda item.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the 2021 landfill services contract with Waste Management as presented.
I second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the contract for landfill services with Waste Management for 2021 as presented. We are going to begin voting with Commissioner Wilson. Commissioner Bader?
Aye.
Commissioner Preisinger?
Aye.
Commissioner Leonhardt?
Aye.
And I, as the mayor, vote aye. The ayes have it. 5-0. The motion carries, so we've approved the contract for the landfill services with Waste Management for 2021. Thank you, Mr. McDonald.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay. Hold on a minute. We next go to the consent agenda item, and I'm going to turn that over to Commissioner Leonhardt.
I move to approve claims for August 8th, 2020 through August 21st, 2020 in the amount of $825,324.44. Net amount for payroll number 17, effective August 14th, 2020 in the amount of $340,556.48. No police and fire pension.
Second.
Motion and a second on this consent agenda item. We are going to begin voting with Commissioner Bowder.
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson? Commissioner Leonhardt?
Aye.
Commissioner Preisinger?
Aye.
And I, as the mayor, vote aye. The ayes have it, 5-0. Motion carries. So we've approved the consent agenda for today's regular commission meeting, excuse me. Okay, so I'm going to go around the horn and begin with Mr. Kramer. Anything for the commission or our citizens, Mr. Kramer?
No, I just thought I'd remark that I met with Dr. Mike Roth yesterday, the superintendent of the school district. I'd like to commend him and his staff on the work that they've put into reopening the schools. on sort of the limited basis that they're doing it right now. And then as a parent of 2 children in the school district, I'd like to thank the teachers and the staff at all the individual schools for all the work that they've put in to get ready to welcome our children back to their schools. So I just wanted to point that out.
How did he say it was going, or did he?
He said it was the quietest first day of his tenure, that, you know,
Yeah.
it's have half the kids in class, but I
Yeah.
know it's a big adjustment.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'd like to thank all them for the work they've put in.
Sure.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kramer. Commissioner Wilson.
Yes, I would just like to echo our city manager, Mr. Paul Kramer. My kids, they attended school today. It wasn't what they anticipated, but they were happy, they were excited, they were still able to make some new friends. And I just want to encourage the 2020 class, hey, stay encouraged and do your best to learn all you can while you can, and remember, school is all about learning, and I'm sure you'll have fun before the end of the school year.
Absolutely. Thank you, Commissioner Wilson. Anything else?
No, sir.
Commissioner Leonhard. I'm going to go next with you. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. No, just a little shout out. This last Saturday, the fire department gave out adult masks and children's masks. I know Mayor Griswold and I help, and Paul Kramer. And I don't know if you ended up, Paul, talking to Chief Birch. I mean, if they had quite a few after we left.
Yeah, we did chart the number of masks. I'll have to get that information about how many we gave out. Yep.
But I think we're gonna still try to do it again.
Yeah, I believe we're gonna have a second event. I think the first one people heard about, but then we got some follow-up questions about, are you gonna do it again? I think there's more awareness, so we do plan on an event. I think coming up here in the next week or so.
So, but it was a pretty nice turnout.
Yeah.
It was a hot day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a good place to hold it because
It was.
it's pretty cool down there underneath the structure of the farmer's
Yeah,
market,
Haymarket,
so I
yeah.
thought that was good.
Yeah, that's all I had.
Okay. Commissioner Preisinger?
Echoing once again everyone's thought about the school year, but I'd also like to remind citizens that we got a lot of kids on the sidewalks and the streets. They don't always stay in the sidewalk. Be very careful before and after school, during school hours. Specifically around Anthony, David Brewer, Henry Leavenworth Elementary schools. Also, let's remember Xavier on Muncie Road and St. Paul Lutheran on 7th Street. All those streets get a lot of traffic, and just be cognizant that there's little kids walking around. And a lot of kids still walk to Warren Middle School, so please be careful in that area. And then everybody put on their seat belts when you drive around the high school, because the high school kids are all starting to drive now. So be defensive driving around there. No, nothing else. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Preisinger. Commissioner Bowder?
The only thing I have to say is we're getting out more and more to restaurants and different places, and I've been really impressed by the way they are making it safe for us. Most of the restaurants we've gone to, people are wearing masks when they're around, going from table to table, and we're spread out, and I've just been very pleased, and my husband and I are very comfortable going to some of these restaurants. So I encourage you to support our local businesses. They're struggling. A lot of people are still struggling. Anyway, keep that in mind and in your prayers. Thank you.
Yes, and I'll just reiterate that, because all the commissioners, and I think I can speak for the other commissioners, strongly encourage all our citizens to wear masks when they're in public, building on or reinforcing what Commissioner Bowder just said, and the social distancing is still important, and the good hygiene and the washing of hands and everything. And it is pretty amazing what is happening within the USD 453, Leavenworth School District, and USD 207 in terms of what the administrators are doing and the teachers as far as making adjustments, having to deal with all the variables to make it a safe, healthy, and productive learning environment in all these schools. They're really doing amazing work, and I salute them, as we've all said here this evening, and hopefully, things are going to be okay, and that, we'll just be able to stay the in-resident instruction for those parents and guardians that have chosen that for their children. So the only other thing I'd like to say is Commissioner Bowder and I and the city manager last Thursday participated in a site visit and a stakeholder roundtable held by, well, we hosted it here at the Firehouse #1, but it was really Senator Moran and the director of the Bureau of Prisons who visited us. And we were able to go out on the site, look to the northeast of where the new federal prison is going to be built. And that's going to occur over the next 4 years, probably come online in probably early 2025. And it looks like it's going to be a magnificent facility, even though the illustrations are just, illustrative at this point. But it'll be a modern, new federal penitentiary. And then at the stakeholder roundtable, I was able to thank Senator Moran on behalf of the citizens for the key role that he's played in terms of acquiring the appropriations, the money from Congress to build this $364 million prison. And so over the next 9 months to 10 months, there'll be the environmental study that will be done, followed by a fulsome design, and then, probably 2.5 years from now, they'll start the construction, which probably will take about 2 years. But it was a good day, and I just wanted to let the citizens know that happened. I think there was a little article in the Leavenworth Times on Friday, but that's good news for the city. We've been a great partner with the Federal Penitentiary and the Bureau of Prisons for over a century. That continues, and they're very happy that they're able to do this in the city of Leavenworth. They sing the praises of this city, and that's due to the citizens and our acceptance and our pride in having them as part of our community. The only other thing I'll say, tomorrow I will not have a Facebook Live town hall, but a week from tomorrow we will have a Facebook Live town hall. So no Facebook Live town hall tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow I will hold one. So if there's nothing else, I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
Motion and a second to adjourn this evening's meeting. We are going to begin voting with Commissioner Wilson.
Aye.
Commissioner Bowder?
Aye.
Commissioner Preisinger?
Aye.
Commissioner Leonhard?
Aye.
And I, as the mayor, vote aye. Vote is 5-0. The ayes have it, and motion carries, so we are adjourned.